everybody, and thank you so much for being here. I'm Suzette Jaski, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the president of the Kenosha Library Foundation, which means we're the ones that raise money for the library. And we, with the Andreas who are here and the Callahans that were here, or were not able to be here tonight, led up the capital campaign and raised $1.5 million for this place with your help. And we really, really appreciate your help. And we wanted to be quick. We're going to have a quick program. We're not going to take all your time. So I've just learned something when I learned about public speaking, and that is be quick, be funny, and be quick. So I don't know if I'll be funny, but I'll be quick. Thank you very much for everyone who's attended. I'm going to very quickly introduce someone who's been an advocate for our community for a long, long, long time. A very big supporter of the libraries and recently became our mayor. So, Mayor David Bogdanoff.
Well, now I have to be funny now. Thank you all for being here today. I apologize, I've got a couple other places I have to run off to today, this evening, but it was really important for me to be here. It's important for me to be here because when I look at all of you, you were all here for this community when we needed you most. When we were looking to figure out what are we going to do? How are we going to rebound? How are we going to also find a way to figure out how do we get our young people and raise them up, get them reading, get them excited, totally revitalize an entire neighborhood, and very, very quickly, with not a lot of pressure, not a lot of pushing, you all did that. And I think in a time right now when we look around the country and we see the divisions and we see the fighting and we see people, funding drying up for different things around, one thing here in Kenosha, we know how to pull together, we know how to get together on one goal, and we know how to do things right. And this building is a shining example of it, what can happen when communities work together, when government is aligned, and when people just want to see things happening in a neighborhood. And so I want to thank all of you for everything that you have done. Again, we don't do this by ourselves. We've got great partners, not just here in this community, but also at the state level. I saw here Representative McGuire, Representative DeSchmidt, who are here as well. They have been huge supporters, not just of this library, but of this city and this community. And so I want to acknowledge and thank them for their support, for everything that they've done. And again, I can't do what I do on a daily basis without the support of a really great city council that we have here that is very, very active, that is very much in support, not just of libraries, but all of the things that we're doing in Kenosha. I saw Alderman Jan Michalski, our council president, who was also here. I want to acknowledge him and thank him for his leadership and his support as we try to really look at how are we going to make sure that these kids who, through no fault of their own, don't have access to things that we all take for granted. And so you all, I want you to know, we were here, Sarah and I and numbers were here a month or so ago with the state librarian, and it was hilarious to see when he walked in and he was blown away, not just by the beautiful building, but when you saw the kids, and you saw them playing, and you saw them interacting, and it was kids of all walks of life. And again, that's, I think, a representation of Kenosha, is that we come together, we work together. Now we got to make sure that it's on our part to keep steering them in the right direction. But what happens in this building is amazing. And I want to hats off to Sarah and her entire team. Sarah is just, I'm really, being new to this community, she jumped right into the fire, but at the same time, she has really taken the bull by the horns and did an amazing job. So Sarah, thank you for all your leadership. We followed each other today. She was on WLIP with happenings, and then as soon as she walked out, I walked in, and so we were kind of tag teaming, talking about Kenosha and bragging about.
After this, so I'm not following you to your next.
She did a much better job on the radio than I did. So really, again, this is really an amazing opportunity that we have here in Kenosha. And it's great that some people ask me all the time, what is it about Kenosha? When I've gone out and I've been talking to other mayors now after having this job for a year and a half, and they hear about the things that are happening in Kenosha, and they say, what is it about Kenosha? What is it so different? I said, right away, immediately, it's the people. The people here know how to pull together. The people here know how to work together to figure out, to solve complex problems, and to actually start to really make an impact on the community. I'm not saying others don't do that, but this place, this city is special. And for 175 years that we're celebrating this year, again, libraries have been a cornerstone of what makes Kenosha special for those 175 years. I had a discussion, use air quotes, with someone who was on council some time ago, and they were arguing that why are we funding libraries? We shouldn't do that. We should just, it's just public works, and it's just the police, and it's the fire, and all that. I said, yeah, that's great, but that's not the kind of community that I want to be in. That's not the kind of community that I want my kids to live in, and certainly not the community that I want to bring people to say, this is the place you want to be. And so I'm glad that we have a city council, we have a community, a foundation that understands that and says we're gonna step up to the plate, because we can't do it all by ourselves. It takes all of us working together towards one goal, which is ensuring that our kids have even better access to reading and fun and friendship and camaraderie, and the legacy that is there in Kenosha is all because of all of you. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart on behalf of the city for what you have done, and take stock, because when you look around, this isn't normal. It's not normal because people don't normally come together and build libraries together and transform a neighborhood as quickly and as easily as we do here in Kenosha. And that's because of all of you. So thank you all so much for what you've done. There's still going to be a lot more work to do. I'm sure that I and Sarah and others that are going to be continuing to ask for that support. And I know you're going to always be there for this community, as you always have. So thank you all for what you've done. I wish you all, if I don't talk to some of you, have an awesome and fun-packed filled holiday season coming up. There's a lot of great things happening in Kenosha this holiday season, and I hope to see you all be a part of that. So God bless you all, and thank you so much.
Lucky to grab the mayor in between events, so we were quick. So thank you very much for being here, and I think we can all really agree that being together and with his leadership, we're able to really accomplish a lot more than we ever were before. So tonight we're going to do a couple things. I'm going to introduce you to some people who are super important. Sarah Townsend is one. She's going to give you an update of how this is a real success story. This library that you're standing in is a huge success story, and you should feel part of that, and you should feel good to be a part of that, because it's something good that's happened. And I think that's something that I would love, if everyone walks out of here feeling that, we've accomplished something. Secondly, we're going to thank all of you, but we're also going to honor some of those who specifically and particularly gave gifts that were really, really well received and well appropriated. So we're going to do that tonight too. But we're going to be quick, I swear. With that, it is my ultimate pleasure to introduce Sarah Townsend. She is our new director. She came from Virginia, where she was assistant director. Her claim to fame in her career has been as a team builder and as a community builder and as someone who's built services based on the needs of the community. Does that sound like something that we are liking? We're going to talk a little bit tonight about what the foundation is doing to support her, but I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Sarah, and she's going to give you some background on herself and success story about this place. So, Sarah.
Please get comfortable if you want. I promise I won't be too long, but if you need to pull a chair or sit down, this is formal-ish, but you can get comfortable. So thank you. As Suzette said, my name is Sarah Townsend. I am the library director here at Kenosha Public Library, also the director for Kenosha County Library System, so dual role. I've been here about 6 months and have made Kenosha home with my husband and my son. I'm thrilled to see some of my neighbors here too. And we've just really loved becoming part of this community. I'm really grateful to be in the room with all of you who made this library possible. I think it's very special, a little magical, that this is a library that was built for the community, but it was built by the community. You all made this library possible. When I was interviewing for the job, I went into all of our libraries, and they all have their own special flavor, as I'm sure you all know. But when I walked into this library, I was just filled with such immense joy. It starts at the door. They've got a book drop with eyes that is going to eat your library books when you return them. The library, from the books to the art, to the toys, to the people sitting behind the desk and walking around, everything just says we are happy you are here and you're just going to have the best time. So everything and everyone in this library is passion personified about serving children. Everything in here is about building up the child, and you all are a very important part of that story. Your contribution here was not just a donation, it was really an investment in the children of this community. And I feel, I'm just going to keep saying it, so get used to it. I feel very grateful to live in a community and work in a community that prioritizes that. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about our first year here at KPL Kids. As Suzette said, it is a success story. If you've been in the library at all this year, I don't need to tell you that. If you got here a little early and saw the people that we were trying to very gently escort out, this is a busy place. If you haven't been in here, I want to make sure you know that this library is an engine for change in this neighborhood, in this community. So in libraries, there are several different ways we measure success, and one of them is by numbers. So we had over 34,000 people in the first year coming in and using this library. And that has doubled library usage in this neighborhood specifically. So, now, you would expect to build this building and then our other library that's only about a block away, that you would see drastic reductions in use there. That has not happened. So it has doubled use just by adding this location. Programming. If you were here a little earlier, you would have seen one of our art programs in action. We have an amazing team, some of them who are here tonight, who do classes and events constantly. There were 287 programs done in this building in the first year. We do a monthly rotation. I'm surrounded by the discovery area activities. They were interacted with over 21,000 times in that first year, and over 9,000 art projects done in that art room. We had over 32,000 checkouts of materials in this building. We are an exciting place for play, but we do have books still. And in Libraryland, we track something called turnover rate. So based on our collection size of about 10,000 items here, that's an average of everything going out about 3 times over the course of the year. That means nothing to you if you don't work in libraries, but the national average is about 1.5. So here, that is double what the national average is. We did, over 600 new cards. Over 400 of those were for kids. So just think about that. Over 400 children in our community had library cards and now have access, not just to this building, but all the resources available in our Kenosha Public Libraries. And I get asked fairly often, who is using this library? Where do they all come from? Who is in here? And it's like any good library, a mixture of regulars and then people just coming in at one time. But I think something really special about this library is it is in this mixed use building. So there are apartments above us, and we have, Tessa and Heather said, regulars every day after school coming down, people that literally live in this building, and this is their library and in this neighborhood. And I think there's a lot of pride in that for our uptown families, that this space is in their neighborhood and they have a sense that this is theirs, and I think that that's really special. But word has spread, and so we see a lot of people from all over Kenosha coming to use this library, and it's also become a bit of a tourist destination, believe it or not. So one staff member told me recently about a family recently, this afternoon, that came from Madison, and they came specifically to visit. It is unique to just have a children's only library to visit, and we're just blown away. And if you've been in the libraries in Madison and the children's museums in Madison, you know that that is a really high compliment for Kenosha. I know when I have family in town, this is one of the spots I always bring them to, and I have a 7-year-old, and we are here all the time. So it's an entry point too. So people are drawn, they come and visit here, and then they're introduced to all the other libraries in Kenosha. We're also seeing a lot of educators. So we have teachers coming in, yes, to learn from how we do learning in this space, but also to access our materials. Come on in, join us. A staff member shared that they had a teacher come over from the School of Language who was just overjoyed to see we have a large collection of Spanish language materials. And we're just thrilled, took a huge stack home and promised to be back. But numbers don't tell the whole story. We also measure success through impact. And I could ramble on and on, but there is food and wine, and so I will not take up too much more of your time. Kids and families are finding community here, but they're also having experiences that I don't think it's overstating to say are life-changing. One of our program series, and I won't put Tessa on the spot, but she would explain this much better than me, so forgive me. One of our program series, Growing KPL Kids, brings community experts and partners in, and they do developmental screenings during some of our early childhood programs. Seems like not a small thing, but pretty straightforward. But last year, screenings were done on 112 children, and for 1 2-year-old, that changed everything. So we had a regular that came in, our staff know her, and she came in one day with glasses. And they learned that in one of those programs, she had been screened, and it had been identified that she needed to have a follow-up about her sight. And so she was able to get glasses. If you have little ones, you know it's pretty unusual to be able to identify that so young. But that is huge and potentially life-changing for her because they can address and correct that early. So just connecting people to those community resources is huge here. And while we have a lot of families coming through our doors, I would be remiss if I didn't stop and point out the partnerships that have flourished here. We are home to a new Achievers cohort through the YMCA. So KPL Kids is home during the school year, Monday through Thursday after school. Every day there is a cohort. Last year it was about 24 kids that come here every day for individualized literacy and math tutoring and learning and fun and just that connection. And let me tell you, that success of that program here is phenomenal. 95% of the 3rd graders in that program were reading at grade level by the end of the year. And if you know education statistics at all, that is huge. And I wanted to share that, yes, there are Achievers cohorts all over the city. The numbers here are unusually successful, I would say. They're all successful, but that number is especially high. And one of the things the coordinator shared with me is some of it is the space, that the children are at school all day. And so when they have to do after-school tutoring, to do it in the school, it's just really hard behaviorally. And they come here, and this feels special. It is a live, joyful learning space. It also feels like theirs. It feels like something special that is theirs. So I wanted to share that with you. We've had similar things said from our Boys and Girls Club who come here weekly in the summer, get library cards for all their kids. It's something special that feels like it's theirs. What we've learned. So the story of KPL Kids in its first year is an adventure story. In these walls, deep exploration has happened. Kids have flown planes, built skyscrapers, farmed cranberries. I'm sad the cranberry bog is still out. And excavated dinosaur bones. And I don't think you can be surrounded by this adventure spirit every day without changing you some. And I'm not exaggerating. I think this library has changed all of us that work here and really changed KPL. So 1 year down, what have we learned? What's next? One of the things that, some of our YFS staff already knew this. The rest of us have learned. Our brains are wired for play, no matter how old we are. And I hope that you will mingle and have wine, have cheese, but I also hope you'll play while you're here and interact with what is here. Play is how we learn best in many circumstances. So one of the things we've learned is we want to infuse play in all of our library locations, but also explore what that looks like for all ages. There's a lot of really intentional STEM-focused learning that happens here, and there's a lot of opportunity to do that elsewhere. Design matters. I feel this very strongly. I've said several times that people are inspired coming into this building, and it feels like something special. And I think that that is something that we can look at in our other spaces as well. We've learned, when we lean in and go all in for a specific demographic, we can do something really special. We're not trying to be just doing a little bit for everyone, but we are all in for kids here. And so I think that there's something to learn there too, that partnerships are key and that we don't operate in a bubble, that building services that complement what is happening around us, the growth of this neighborhood, Kin and Keela, for example, is what part of what makes us strong. So I know, I said I wouldn't be long and I was, but I don't know that I was funny. There were a few laughs. I do want to end again by thanking all of you. This magical little library, can you tell I used to be a youth services librarian and things are magical. Little library has been an inspiration for me. And yes, it is gorgeous, it's fun, but it really is about the people. The idea that a community would come together, Mayor, I think you said it really well, and build something like this for its youngest citizens tells me everything I need to know about Kenosha. And I'm extremely proud to be a Kenoshan because of many reasons, but that is one of them. This is a community that takes care of each other and steps up to make sure that the future generation has every opportunity. Our staff like to tell a story of a young man who came into the library for the first time, and I believe he was part of one of the school groups that was visiting, and he walked into the door and stopped, shocked, and just said in disbelief, "This is all for us?" And yes, it is. From top to bottom, this was a space that was built to be filled with the noise of kids. Our staff can tell you that sometimes that noise is deafening. But I hope that you go home tonight feeling an immense sense of pride in what you did here, and also a connection to the work we do every day in our libraries. KPL is just one of our 5 locations, and we have really robust outreach services, and the needs that KPL Kids is trying to meet are just a slice of the needs in this community. So I hope that your connection with us also doesn't end tonight. I invite you all to come back. I invite you to visit the space, get to know the staff that work here, to bring your friends and family here, to visit our other libraries, to attend programs, to check out books, to volunteer with our friends in our foundation. I know they would love to have you and your support. And we invite you to continue to be part of our library community and to watch the seeds you planted here grow throughout Kenosha and our libraries. So thank you.
What found Sarah is just such a lucky find, and I'm so excited about the future of the libraries, but of the community because of it. So thank you. You know, a couple things it's really important for us to reflect. I hope that you feel the same. The capital campaign was a success, no doubt. No doubt it was. First time ever that the library has taken one on, ever. So that in and of itself. And we had some great corporate partners that stood up and stood up to the plate. Snap-on stood up to the plate. Meyer stood up to the plate. Wi-Fi, We Energies, a lot of companies stood up to the plate. But what was really, really impactful was that this library, although those contributions were amazing, the library was really built by contributions from human beings that enjoyed the city and enjoyed either kids' library that they used to go to, perhaps maybe their neighborhood, maybe they see a need, but it was built by people like the Callahan Foundation, who gave a sizable gift. It was built by the Andreas, who came together and together gave an enormous gift. It was built by 100 Extraordinary Women, which is an incredible part of our community. It was built by each of you individually. I want to recognize one gift in particular tonight. And we did a little research. I put Jane McTurnan on it, thank God, because Jane is a good researcher. But Jane went and asked a few people some stories about Jane Bruss. If you don't know, Scott Bruss named this library and the donation he gave as a tribute to Jane. And those of us who know Jane, I remember going to the Wizard of Oz when Annie was singing, and Jane, that was her goal, to get there. And watching that all occur and watching the song and watching her sing the song and looking at my son who was 4 and crying. I would have no idea why. But that was impactful to me. But it was impactful to me in a way that I didn't really understand Jane. So let me tell you a couple stories about Jane that I learned or that Jane learned in going out to the community and asking. So those of you who know Sister Sylvia, she is, look at a lot of head shaking. Sister Sylvia has been here a long time. She has been at the St. Joe's or St. Mark's campus for, I don't know, 40 some years, teaching religion, teaching. She told Jane that Jane Bruss was the most caring, engaged parent she had ever met. Now think about that. That is an incredible something. Because Sister Sylvia met a lot of parents. And a lot of really engaged parents. I found out that she was really a person that learned how to engage people when they walked in, how to make them feel good for what they were doing. She was a teacher. She was a teacher every single day in everything she did, and in the company she ran. She was a parent and a friend, but she was a part of our community as much as anything was part of our community. She loved kids. She was engaged with kids, and she was engaged with learning. The second story we learned, and we talked to Linda Hennessy, who was a friend of Jane and Scott's. And Linda, who knows them very well, knows the Brusses very well, she told me that she was the choir director at St. Mark's, and there was a song from the Wizard of Oz, the new Wizard of Oz, called For Good, for those of you who know it. And in there's a line that says, "Because I knew you, I've been changed for good." And she said, there's a lot of people that aspire to be that, and I hope we all do. But Jane really was that. And I can't think of a better place to honor her than by a library that does what it's doing with kids. And with that, I would really love to thank Scott and introduce him to say a couple words.
Thank you, Suzette. So I'm the guy that was lucky enough to marry Jane Andrea. And I'm very proud to be a small part of this beautiful kids' uptown library. And I'm proud that a study area has been named in memory of my wife, Jane Andrea Bruss. I think we all know how important this library is to our community and to the kids of Kenosha. Our children are our future, and it's my hope that this library can give kids the start they need to reach their full potential. And it sounds like that's happening. Wonderful. Jane and I moved to Kenosha, her hometown, in 1980, and we joined her family business. Andrea's was on the corner, just a couple of blocks from where we are tonight, doing business for over 110 years. I had the best job in the world, being a part of a family business in uptown Kenosha. Our son and our daughter grew up in the store with grandparents and aunts and uncles always nearby. And as you can see, the rest of the Andrea family has also been very supportive of the kids' library. For a grade school project, Jane wrote her autobiography when she was 11 years old. In her dedication, she wrote, "To my little sisters, Catherine, Susan, Caroline, and Anne, because I love to read to them, and they love to listen to me read." Jane would have loved the Kids Uptown Library, and I'm so happy that she's now a part of it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you to all of you who gave this to this library and made it possible. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the foundation, and I'll be done, I swear. We are on a journey that we are embarking on, and we are going to move quickly. We found out that it wasn't that hard to raise $1.5 million Well, it was, but it wasn't. You know, we did it. And there's a lot more to go. So we're on a journey, and we are really excited about being on that journey. And we are going to make all the dreams come true of Sarah, of the mayor, because, heck, we're there. But this is a little bit of what we're up to, just so you know. So we've been going about putting some infrastructure in place, which is super boring, but super important. We're getting big by getting some infrastructure in place, and we're doing that particularly around grants. So we're hoping to be systematic in the way that we approach the grant world, and we're hoping that we can start bringing in some significant funds doing that. That's one. Second, we've got another $500,000 to raise for this location, which we're going to do it. So, if you see these on the program, please take these with you when you leave. On here is a QR code. Please give these to your friends who didn't donate yet, who might be interested to know about it. Or there's a little place to fill out if you want to make a referral to one of us, and we'll contact them. So please take these with you. Thirdly, we're anticipating to assist in the raising of funds for some major renovations. You can imagine what that might look like. How many of you think the Simmons Library is a gem to our community? How many would like to see it here forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and be the beautiful landmark it should be? Well, it needs a bunch of money, and we're going to have to figure that out. As well as, do you know that there's not a library on the west side of 39th Avenue? What?
There will be.
I have a feeling there will be. There's no end to what we need to do. This is just the beginning. I want to take a minute to say thank you to all the board members who are here that are helping in this endeavor. And I'm going to look around. So that's Betsy Stobig is here. So raise your hand. Lucy Skalbeck is here. I'm looking around. Jamie Curley. Zena Hayward. Keisha Jones, who's the former president. Georgia Owens. Nancy Humphreys. Ellen Humper. Did I miss any? Who did I miss? Oh, George O'Malley. Heather Oak. Oh, thank God for you. Heather is our connection to KUSD. Okay. Helpful. We are here to help you, help us, and if you have any ideas or would like to volunteer, please contact any one of us. That's the end of my public relations announcement. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for being a part of this. Around, you're going to see some videographers. Please talk to them. We're going to get some sound bites, and we're going to market the heck out of this idea and your donations by letting other people know what you're doing and what this place is. So please talk to them. Other than that, please have a good time and have some wine and some charcuterie and enjoy yourself. And thank you for coming tonight.
Well, Kenosha Public Libraries open up so many opportunities for everybody, from toddlers to senior citizens. Reading expands our minds and takes us to places that we've never been, and stimulates our imagination, and for kids, it's unbelievable how the exposure they get to books and to other ways of learning here in the children's library here in the Uptown. So it's a very special part of our community. Well, the Kenosha Public Library obviously is a public institution that gets money from the taxpayers, but as we know, that's never enough to cover what is really needed and what sets us apart from other communities. And thankfully, Kenosha has always had very generous citizens who've stepped up to support the important institutions in our city. And there's a lot more they want to do. They want to expand, get a library west of 39th Avenue in western Kenosha. And there's always ongoing projects to improve and update and maintain the existing buildings. Well, a library is a very important part of any community. It says a lot about the community, and when you're trying to attract new residents and corporations to locate here, this is one of the things they look at. What are the amenities? What are the does this city offer our potential employees? In Kenosha, it's schools, it's libraries, it's parks and recreation, it's our lakefront, but the library is key, so we always have to remember that.
Libraries in general are a measure of civilization in any age, in any period of history. All the great civilizations have had great libraries. Because by improving the lives of Kenoshans, we're improving everybody's life. I remember years ago, I'm old enough to remember the Boys and Girls Library downtown. And when that went away, it was a loss. And this more than makes up for it. This is more of a hands-on, small child facility, and this fills a gap that one actually, even if it hadn't closed, would never fill. Well, libraries are a great place, a refuge for people who want to find out what's going on. They have all kinds of facilities. If nothing else, the libraries have provided meeting facilities. You know, if somebody wants to get together for a group that wants to organize for something, there's always a room in the library they can reserve and get together with a large group of people. They can learn skills, computer skills, all kinds of stuff. And yes, more than anything else, there are the books.
Hi, we are Judy.
And but no, I'm Judy.
Yeah, we're both former
Blessed.
educators.
Retired.
And as far as the importance of a library, it is so important for young people to read, and the earlier they get involved with reading, the more they enjoy it. Judy, being an elementary teacher, how would you say?
When you can get kids hooked on reading, that's just very special. And the more they read, the more curious they get, and having a library is great. When I was teaching before I retired, I always was at the library getting books to kind of entice them and have in my classroom and then whisk them away and get a new selection. And the librarians were just great and getting me things. Some things that they didn't have, they would get from the other libraries that are in the selection out in the county. So I was always very grateful to have the extra help.
And as a library within the community, it is so important, because if a young person has to take a bus or something of that nature to get to the library, too many complications can arise. Having a library within the neighborhood makes a world of difference. And I applaud Kenosha in making a commitment to helping young people having a library in the neighborhood. Well, as former educators, in terms of donating, we want a future for the young people to be as bright as possible. At the elementary level?
Absolutely. When kids read, they will be better students and better people, because they can find out things about other parts of the world, other parts of the city, and other parts of our country. And they will find that so many things are the same all around the world. And having the great selection of books that you have here just makes them more curious and makes them want to read more.
And as a former high school educator and administrator, if they start early on and as a donor, it gives you a sense of you're giving back to the community. That's a feeling you can't replicate.
There's so much to see and do, even as adults at the regular libraries, not just this beautiful one. I have a friend that comes all the time and gets books and rents movies, and she's there every week as a retired educator. She just can't say enough about libraries.
And I would wrap it up with 3 letters. Wow. This is incredible down here. Yes. Thank you.
Well, the libraries are important to people for a variety of reasons and a variety of people. You can find entertainment, you can find knowledge, you can find research, you can find friendship. It's very important for communities to have libraries for community spirit and community knowledge. Buy-in is important in any community effort. And donating to the library is critical for the quality of the community. I think that people should want to give because this is particularly this children's library. This is a place that is working on the social issues of having children learn to read, socialize, be part of the community. This area of this library is so rich because of this library, and it improves the life of all of us when our children grow up smart, educated, and able to read. Well, as they say on television, come on down, because this is a place to see, and I have come a couple of times, and when you see the children enjoying all of the activities that are here, interacting with librarians and the people that are working with the kids, it's just a wonderful feeling to realize what joy this place brings for the children and the parents that bring them.
Hi, I'm Crystal Miller, and it is a pleasure to be here tonight at this Kenosha Public Library for kids here in Uptown. It was a kind of a no-brainer for me to participate in the 100 Extraordinary Women that raise money to be a part of this, because what I see here is impact for our community, for children to have a place where they can come in these doors and feel cared for, be educated through things that they may not even seem like they're actually learning, but they are, and they feel very safe here. And it's so evident even as I look around tonight. I'm so happy I got to be a part of it. And I would encourage you to visit here, because as soon as you visit, you will see a compelling reason to give, because there is more work to do. Our community has a lot of needs, and there is nothing more fun than to be a part of solving problems.
As far as the importance of Kenosha Public Library, it ties you to the community, it opens the world of books, and expands you from childhood through the rest of your life to love books. As a donor, I put in the donation for the 100 extraordinary women in my mother's name, because my mother was the first person to take me to the library in Kenosha as a child. And we would walk to the library, we would carry our books home from the library, and she went on to be one of the largest patrons of the library. As she probably read more books in the Kenosha Library than anybody, because she would take 8 books out a week, and she was a fast reader. And then she would, when she was older, she got her books from the bookmobile. And she was an avid reader till her last days. So I wanted to honor her by donating to the library on her behalf. I think the Kenosha Public Library, I've been to a lot of libraries. I've been to a lot of bookstores. I have 3 library cards for other libraries as well. And the Kenosha Library is just, what can I say? It's special in that it has more branches in the town than other libraries. Maybe have just one in a town this size. And I've been to all the branches. I go to the library book sales regularly, which is always a fun thing, and that's something else I always did with my mom. We'd go to the library book sales, and so, I don't know, it's special.